Georgia is on that bullshit. Yes, I said it. Georgia is on that bullshit. My name is Matt Stevens. This is your Matt Minute in Politics, and I'm going to break down for you why I said that, okay? If you have been not paying attention or just seem to have missed the news that both the Georgia House and Georgia Senate have decided in all their infinite state level wisdom that it would be better to suppress the votes of Black, brown, progressive, Democratic, any voters that don't look like white conservative Trump Republicans. It would be better to suppress their votes, to take away the right to vote, to limit the right to vote, other than to come up with new ideas. It would be better to just suppress the votes than to actually be ideas driven and ideas based. And so what they have done, each chamber of the Georgia state legislature has decided that they want to implement voter suppression. You might ask me, okay, what does this have to do with me? Let me make it really plain for you. Even if you are watching this video and you do not live in the state of Georgia, this applies to you. Why? Because if you suppress the rights of Black and brown residents of Georgia, you ultimately can suppress the ways, means, and decisions of the greater American good. I give you an example, okay? You want those $1,400 stimulus checks? Do you want your kids to go back to school, in-person learning? Do you want vaccines in your arms if that's your thing? Do you want more money for police, fire, medics, that kind of, public servants and for state and local governments? Well, there's a $1.9 trillion COVID bill. That COVID bill would not have been a reality had we not had not one, but two Georgia senators who were elected in a runoff race on January the 5th of 2021. Those two senators come from the state of Georgia. There were Georgia Black people, brown, progressives, young people, gay, straight, everything in between, Democrats that helped to elect Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff to the United States Senate. Now, they were elected with our votes. If people in Georgia, state level representatives, suppress the rights of people in Georgia to vote, to have access to the ballot box, it has not only local and state level consequences here in Georgia, but it affects you too. There would be no $1,400 checks. Your kids would be sitting at home and doing virtual learning for another year. There would be no vaccines going in arms because Donald Trump could possibly have been our president. Okay? I just want to make that plain, just in case somebody thinks like, oh, it doesn't apply to me. I don't live in Georgia. Yes, you do. For the example's sake, you live in Georgia. We're going to act like you live in Georgia. I want you to follow along with me, okay? So you might say, okay, well, voter suppression. What is it? What are they trying to do? You can go read some of that stuff on your own. I'll just give you the really high highlights, okay? They're trying to limit absentee voting, limit mail-in voting for people like me that just it's a pandemic, don't feel like going to the ballot, to the actual polling place, whether it's early or in person. So I'm going to either mail or use a drop box for my ballot. So people like that. They're limiting the amount of days of early voting, the amount of days of Sunday voting, weekend voting here in Georgia. They're even going as far, and I am not making this up, you can look it up yourself. They are going to make it, or trying to make it, because it's not in law yet, it's not been signed into law, they're going to try to make it a misdemeanor in the state of Georgia to give anybody waiting in an active voting line in person. If you give anybody food or drink in line, and you are closer in than 150 feet, it is a misdemeanor in Georgia to feed or give a beverage to someone who is waiting in a voting line. That is, if it goes into law, it's not in law yet, that's what would be a misdemeanor in Georgia. You'd have to be 150 feet or further away from someone in line. Because everybody has a 150-foot arm to hand, them pizza, that far away or whatever. Or, yes, our elderly people, they easily walk 150 feet to get water and food, and diabetics, so, they do that type of thing. So it limits voting from a lot of different angles, from the absentee, the mail-in, the in-person, the amount of days, the ID requirements. If you use an absentee ballot, they want you to send in a copy of your driver's license. Oh, sure, because nobody's committing identity theft now. Nobody's stealing mail now. But that's not a problem. Don't worry about it. That's what's going on here. Now, unfortunately, remember when I said that it was not just in Georgia this is happening? It's not. And this, if you don't live in Georgia, that it still applies to you. It does apply to you because bills like this, there are over 250 of them in states all across the country, from Texas to Montana to Arizona to Iowa. Iowa actually just passed theirs into law this week. So this is a very real thing. So what I want you to do is Google voter suppression and the name of your state. And I'm sure Google will give you infinite resources about what is going on in your state related to voter suppression. Okay. So I just want you to get a very clear understanding. I'm going to wrap this up. I want you all to remember a few things. First is that elections have consequences. Okay. Elections and politics are not just about that time between 2020 and 2024. It's not just about the actual elections in those years. It's about that gray area in the middle. And we're in the gray area now. We're in the unsexy part of actually living and working through a democracy. And we see Republicans, especially Trump Republicans, trying to take away the right to vote because they're using what is called the big lie that Donald Trump won the election. How they figure that, I don't know. They're using that lie to try to promote these voter suppression bills. But we are operating in that gray area in between 2020 and 2024 where stuff has to get done. So we're keeping our eyes on the ball. Also, voting affects every single issue that you have a passion about. I don't care if you're into animal rights, if you're into climate change, if you are, as you rightfully should be, into racial justice and policing reform, or if you're into voting, if you are into whatever your thing is, state and local stuff, you want your schools to be better, you want your roads paved, or whatever it is, it has a voting component to it. When you suppress the rights of people to vote, especially Black and brown people in this country, you are doing this country a great disservice. You are spitting on the graves of our ancestors that had to live through Reconstruction after the Civil War. They had to live through the redemption period after that, and then into Jim Crow. And I don't want to do that. I hope that you don't want to do that either. We don't want to disrespect them in any way. But this is important, y'all. And I'm not going to stop doing videos about it. I think I've done videos about voting before, but this Georgia stuff is brand new. And this Iowa stuff and Montana and Arizona, this is all since Donald Trump was telling that lie. So anyway, I'm not going to talk too long. Please follow me, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of this video at Mr. Prune Juice. I would love to earn your follow. I am actually on Twitter a lot talking about this and some other things, but definitely follow me, keep up with me, and there'll definitely be some more videos coming. So again, I'm Matt Stevens. This has been your Matt Minute in Politics. Thank you so much for listening to me. Remember, if you don't do anything else, follow me, and also Google voter suppression and the name of your state. Let me know in the comments what you find so we can have a conversation about this so we can start to fight it right here, right now. We're not sleeping at all for the next 4 years. Okay? Thanks.